It'll be 2 courts,
Full size.
full size, high school size.
I'm assuming half courts down the sides of it.
Right now, they're just 4 goals. We don't have any plans for other goals on the sides.
Lighting
No lighting,
currently.
currently.
That's what they lighting has.
I'm assuming parking will just be over at the main park there.
At the new complex, sports complex.
How soon will they get started?
I'm hoping that they'll be able to start within the next 3 to 4 weeks.
And it's probably a 2 or 3 month project, I would think, so.
Yes.
To approve?
Second. Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. All right, 6506, affirming the city of Sherman's support of and partnership with the 2020 census.
Mayor, I have been assigned to be the representative from the city of Sherman for the 2020 census, and we've been meeting with the county and other city representatives around the area. One of the things that is a big concern in the 2020 census is they are estimating about 40% participation. In the pre-survey of the 2010 census, 87% said that they would participate, and they only got 20% participation rate. In the pre-survey this time, they had about 63% that said that they will participate. So they're anticipating less than 40%. So what we're doing, along with the county and other cities, is really pushing the 2020 census count. And this resolution is just in support of that. We will be forming a complete count committee, which will be volunteers from the city of Sherman, just like Denison and other cities will try to do it in their community as well. This year, next year, the census, a lot of it is gonna be done online. And so, those areas where people normally come and knock on doors, they will not do that unless there's an area where the count is not up there. So a lot of it is gonna be done online next year, as well as, for example, students who are in our communities from Austin College, Grayson College, they will be counted in Grayson College versus their parents' residence. So we're moving forward to get everybody counted in Grayson County.
And one thing to point out, what's important about counting folks is that so many of our federal dollars are distributed in our area based on population counts, for instance, like highways and other very important infrastructure. So it's important that we really take care and make sure everybody participates. Any questions on this item?
Will a lot of them be based off of phone calls or just okay? No, they will not call people, they will not knock on doors.
So I was gonna say, if we did that, we need to have some type of way to recognize that that's what that's for, because we get phone calls all day long, and people just tend not to pay attention to them,
So what they will do, you will get a card, and that card will give you the information that you need to go online to do your census. If that card is not turned in, then someone might knock on your door. They will not be sending cards out to people who have post office boxes. They will only be sending them to residential addresses.
This is for this year, that's not starting next year, you're saying this year is when they're.
The 2020 census
I can't see
upcoming.
people doing that.
Doing what?
I can't see people getting the card and going online and filling out the information.
Well, that's why we're doing this big campaign, to ensure that that happens.
Well, one of the suggestions that has been made in the past, part of my government teacher thing is coming through here, sorry, is the fact that because people don't fill out their census forms, that maybe the government ought to get to just estimating how many people live in a particular town or a particular county. And we definitely don't want the government to get frustrated, more frustrated than they are, and decide that, well, we shouldn't do the full census and do the actual head count. Some people go, well, why do the head count when we can't be accurate? But the mayor is absolutely correct, that a lot of our federal funding is based upon the census. And if people do not answer the census questions, and it's, some reason they think that they're gonna get into their taxes or whatever, but if they don't answer the questions, we don't get federal funding, or as much federal funding as we could have whether it be for our local airport, for our local streets, it even can come down to the school systems and everything else. And so it's very, very important that we all participate in the census. It is relatively painless. And so, I want to make a motion that we strongly approve of this action at 6506, whenever, okay?
I strongly second.
Okay. A strong motion, a strong second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Those were all strong, and that was a strong vote. Okay, at this time we'll receive quarterly progress report from Sherman Economic Development Corporation President Ken Sharp. Good evening, Ken.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Ken Sharpman. Sherman Economic Development Corporation, giving the quarterly report, and we appreciate the council. I want to come over and give you an update on our activities, on the board's activities, for this will be the third quarter. I'm trusting you all have the full written report that was prepared by our staff. I know you have a somewhat agenda ahead of you, so I'm gonna try to cover as much as I can, practically, and then I'll hit the highlights, and if you council have any questions, I'll try to get those answered. If not me, we've got very good staff to help me. So rather than going through these just one by one, the mission, of course, of the SEDCO is to help the private sector grow and diversify the economy of Sherman and the surrounding area through the addition of new jobs and investment of primary employers. We feel like our top accomplishments of the board within this past quarter, kind of fourfold. We submitted 9 new project proposals, and we actually hosted 3 site visits. We presented 2 incentive checks in that quarter, one for $227,231 to JP Hart Lumber Company. The company invested an additional $1 million, or a total of $9.5 million in the project, and hired an additional 32 employees. So they at that time were a total of 37 employees. And that incentive included the Buy Local grant, which is up to a $20,000 part of the package for purchasing from local vendors. We also presented Cresco with a $47,500 incentive toward their almost $1 million investment in a new automated slitting machine to modernize and increase their production at their local plant. That helps Cresco to retain their 190 existing jobs. And finally, I know Quinn was happy about this, and the new 12-inch sewer line project in progress, part 2 was completed, so we've got that now behind us. Plans for the board in the next quarter, and again, I'm just gonna get some of the highlights. We've got, on August 14th and 15th, we've been asked to participate with Grayson College and Workforce Solutions to make a presentation to the Texas Workforce Commission. This is my first time involved in anything like this, but I'm told it's an honor. EWC has asked Workforce Solutions and Grayson College to come down and make a presentation based upon our past achievements with funding from the Workforce Solution. In particular, TWC has asked us to focus on the Finisar project and how the community works together to get skills development funds and different funds from TWC to help provide employees with the right training and help Finisar work more with those employees. So that'll be neat. I'm kind of along for the ride on that one, but it's gonna be neat to a nice feather in the cap for Sherman. I'm gonna attend the DFW marketing team, the local broker consultant day in Dallas on August 27th. SEDCO will host a safety leaders forum at Sunny Delight on August 27th. We'll host a human resources network lunch on August 29th, and I'd just like to give a shout out to Stacy Jones, our executive vice president. She's been putting these things together, and the participation is increasing each and every time. It's really getting our staff, in front of a lot of those key decision makers, a lot of those key personnel in those plants, and it's helping me. I kind of tag along still at this point, but it's pretty impressive what Stacy put this together. And then we're gonna also go in with the city. I was contacted by Terrence a couple months ago about NATCAR, and that stands for the North Texas Commercial Association of Realtors and Real Estate Professionals. I've done this before in one of the towns I was in, I went to two of these. It's only like 3 or 4 hours, it's from like 3 to 7 on September the 5th, but it is fast, it's like speed dating. I'd say probably 85% of it is retail development, but you will see every retail and retail development, possibility there, from the very small to the very large. It also is gonna, it'll entertain some portion of commercial, and then a smaller portion is industrial, but it's a neat, if you're in North Texas and you're in a growing market, which sure definitely is, this is an event that we want to attend, so we're gonna go split a booth with the city, work that booth, and hopefully bring back some success stories from that. On September the 9th, I'm gonna attend the Dallas Regional Chambers Networking event for Site Selectors Guild, and the Colony Site Selectors Guild is a national guild. There's probably several hundred site selectors across the country, firms and individuals. The guild is an organization they put together a few years back, to sort of come in and help states and individual regions of the country understand what corporations, what manufacturers, what business back office solutions, different sectors are looking for at any given time. So this is a good chance for us to interface with those individuals that are sending us RFPs every week. Then on September the 10th, we will have our annual joint meeting with you folks, Sherman City Council. We hope at this meeting to review the 2019-2020 program of work, the results from that program of work this year. 2018-2019, and then the 2019-2020 program of work and budget. We'll get that done. I believe that's at lunch, if I'm not mistaken. SEDCO is gonna host a plant managers forum in Crestville on September the 11th. We're bringing back Swap It Up again in 2019. Ashton's heading that up, and she does an incredible job with that. This year, we're gonna have 4 AMP teams from Sherman, Foxborough, Westboro, and S&S. Let's see, Industrial Asset Management Council. This is a sort of an elite who's who of corporate real estate professionals. It's very difficult, and when I say that, I mean, it really is. It's more than just, here's my, $200 in membership application. You almost have to be asked to come to this. You go on a waiting list. There's very few EDCs and utility companies. I say few, it's a percentage, it's probably less than 20% of the total makeup is non-corporate real estate professionals. So Stacy has been on the list for a year, and I think you attended your first one this year, right? So we're gonna send Stacy back again on September from the 14th to the 17th. So she's now eligible to attend those events, and really it's just one person from each community goes to that, so we're sort of split it. I do some things, she does other things. September the 24th and 26th, we'll attend West Tech, both Stacy and I. That's a manufacturing technology trade show in Long Beach. Already 700 companies have signed up. Last year they had, 2017, they had over 10,000 attendees. Just another good opportunity for us to get in front of decision makers and companies who are looking at relocating or expanding their operations. And then the last on that section, we have our staff will attend the Texas Economic Development Council's annual conference in San Antonio, October the 9th and 11th. The next few questions, you can see our board met in the quarter. We met, April 10th, May the 14th, and June the 11th. We also included the July 9th meeting. 100% of our of a quorum was present at each one of those meetings. Other information we'd like to communicate, the board would like to communicate to the council, and I'll hit, there's several items listed here. Believe me, I'm not gonna go over every one of those, just try to get the highlights. We're currently working on 11 active projects, a little over $660 million in capital investment, and 4,800 jobs that are represented in those active projects. How many of those we get? Who knows? If we got one, it'd be very well. I guess we'll be making an announcement. Anyway, we work diligently to get as many of them as we can. We've got some infrastructure projects going on with the city, Progress Drive extension and improvements to Flannery Road, out to Progress Park areas. Continue a very robust business retention expansion program. We completed 8 existing industry visits. sponsored 3 human resource network lunches, a plant managers forum, at the Advanced Manufacturing Program. That was kind of neat. I was at that one. I can't remember how many plant managers we had there, half dozen. And they got to tour the AMP facility, the machinery equipment, and it was real eye-opening. You know, some of them, I think we had one gentleman from Vanessa, that's fairly new. He was like, wow, this is something I did not know was in the community. So it really communicates the dedication that the community has to workforce development, to our major industries, and that does go a long way when they're making decisions. We attended the first annual Texas Career Signing Day. This is kind of a cool event that's starting to be implemented in high schools to support the Advanced Manufacturing Program and Industrial Maintenance Technician Program. Those students getting into that program or becoming a part of that program. We helped host the IMT graduation reception, and we saw 4 IMT graduates. That's in Industrial Maintenance Technology, so we actually saw 4 graduates from that program. We co-sponsored the end of the year Advanced Manufacturing Program celebration. About 130 people attended that event, and we actually saw our first 20 students receive their manufacturing certification. So in the 3rd year, we're starting to see some fruit. And you know, I use that analogy because it does take some time to nurture and bang in these programs. But at some point, and we're starting to see that now, as they start to mature out or reach maturity, they really be like you planted that tree 5, 6, 7 years ago. It's a good effort. And then one of the things we're really proud of, the Munson Foundation, we attended a grant ceremony in which the Munson Foundation, the Munson Foundation awarded the program, the AMP program, $50,000. It was the first local area foundation grant, and that will go towards the AMP student tuition. So we were very appreciative to the foundation for doing that. I'm just gonna kind of skip and go. Ashton completed 3 certification courses for her international economic development, training, economic development management and marketing and attraction, managing economic development organizations, and credit analysis. So she's well on her way to getting to the phase where she's gonna take the test and feel certified. We're very proud of her on that. Sherman launched the new ShermanTHJobs.com, and we marketed that site through various social media platforms as well as billboards. ShermanSites.com, that's the site where a lot of site consultants or decision makers in the industry will come to get a lot of information on the community. That is the newest version of GIS planning, which is I think something that a company that most cities and EDCs use. And it just gives us improved functionality, analytics, and design. So we're proud for that to be updated. And then the workforce video that promotes the AMP, IMT, and business education for teachers, that was uploaded to setco.org, and we're posting that on social media. I'm not sure that little bell was my buzzer or not, but anyway. I'll leave it there to stop rambling, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Questions, council?
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Congratulations, girls. That's a lot of hard work.
Okay, next item, consider charter amendments proposed by Charter Review Commission for the November 5th, 2019 special.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I've been drafted to give this presentation tonight. As you know, we can amend our charter once every 2 years, and this is the year we're up. We met as staff to review the charter, and then a charter review commission was assigned by the mayor. And we come up with 10 different places where we think the charter could be improved by amendment. In past elections, voters have approved Proposition 11-3, which allowed council to amend the charter by ordinance when those amendments would be non-substantive or just to keep up with state law. So we have 7 of those type amendments and 3 other type of these with the voters. First, we'll go over the ones that are going to need to be on the ballot for 2019. This first amendment A couple of years ago, we changed the terms for council from 2 years to 3-year terms. This is kind of leftover bit of information from that. When you were serving 2-year terms, it was considered a full term if you served half of that 2-year term, which would be 12 months. When we moved it to 3, we never did make the change in this section, which would require you to serve half of a 3-year term or 18 months to be considered a full term. We think this is just moving the charter along. We already nudged it along in one spot, we're gonna nudge it along in another spot if voters approve. Second amendment, it'll need to go to the voters. Presently, if you desire to be on the council, you can have 2 years as a council member, and then you're capped. And then you can also serve 2 years as mayor.
Terms.
2 terms, yes, I'm sorry. 2 terms as councilman, then 2 terms as mayor. The committee looked at this and decided that, you know, if a member of the community wanted to serve on the council, but did not want to serve as mayor, why would we limit them to just 2 terms, 2 terms on the council? This makes where people can serve 4 consecutive terms in any combination of offices. So you can do 2 as mayor, 2 as council, or you can do all 4 consecutive terms as a council member. We think that sort of evens out the ways people can serve the community, but we'll let the voters decide on that one. And the last one that will have to go to the voters, again, back when we changed council terms to 2-year terms, we didn't do the same for planning and zoning. This amendment would just change planning and zoning members' terms in office to mirror those of council with 3 years, 3 years in office. Now the 7 that don't have to go to the voters, will come back to you as a form of ordinance later this month. I guess later this month, but we may wait until November when we see how the voters feel about the other amendments. First, many of these are just keeping up with state law. State law no longer requires us to publish things in the newspaper. So we see a lot of mentions of the newspaper in these. This one removes the requirement to publish in the newspaper and moves that to the website, and that's what state law has done. The second one of these is sort of the same thing. We have a lot of date-specific things in our charter, and occasionally the legislature, in its infinite wisdom, decides to change those dates, those requirements. So we, in some places, are moving our notice requirements to mirror state law, or we just change, a lot of places, we just change the words to comply with state law. This is another one that's with the newspaper though. The 30 days is a new one, and then we eliminate the newspaper and change it to website. Same thing here. This is just mirroring the filing of candidates to mirror state law. This is the same thing only with charter amendments. We now mirror the requirements of state law. This Article 5, Section 2A has to do with how we present the budget to the council. Rate of pay is not necessarily the best way to present the personnel costs in the budget, so we just changed the wording to personnel costs instead of rate of pay. This section allows the city manager to approve. I got out of order. Here we go. This section allows the city manager to approve change orders if they're below the state minimum. Currently, that's $50,000. We didn't put the $50,000 in there. We just changed it to the amount fixed by state law in case that changes. And then lastly, this is another where we were required to publish things in the newspaper, and the state law no longer requires that. We're proposing to change that to on the city's website. And this last one, again, deletes references to the newspaper as the legislature has decided that is dated. Any questions?
I do have one question for you, Brandon. We're referencing the website a lot. In this day and age, a website can mean a lot of things. You know, people use their Facebook as a website now.
Certainly.
So, how are we gonna firm up where exactly people should be looking for?
It's the city's official website, and in some communities that may be to Facebook. I think one of the reasons that the legislature is moving away from publication in newspapers is newspapers have really become regional. And we don't see it here, we have a nice, strong local media here in Sherman, but smaller communities, you know, in East Texas, the local, nearest newspaper may be the Dallas Morning News, and the people in that town aren't looking at the Dallas Morning News for information about their local town, but they will look to the town's website, and almost all communities have at least some sort of a website, and the state law does allow, if that website happens to be the city's Facebook page, then those communities would be allowed to do that. Since the city of Sherman has an official cityofsherman.com website, that's where our notices would be located. There has been some discussion among staff as to maybe creating a page specifically for notices and legal publications such as this.
So is there any way to define the definition of website in our charter to indicate that it's a cityofsherman.com, so it's not moving target? I know we're not intending it to be, but just so people have exactly the location they should be looking for.
And you know, again, that, there would be a way to do that in the charter. We recently changed the way the website reads, so I would caution against being too specific in the charter, because ours used to be ci. Now it's cityofsherman.com. And in the future, if it changes just to sherman.com or some other name, you'd hate to make it, we'd have to have another charter amendment to fix that problem, but.
I would just hate for people to be relying on Google ranking to be able to find out which is the right website to go to, you know, I'm just thinking out loud, sorry.
We'll publish it in the paper.
Could you just insert the word in there, city's official website? Would that?
Sure,
I
and,
mean,
it'd be up to us to let people know where to look for that.
just that clarification.
I'm not being hard on it, so.
No. Great question.
The CI of Sherman is still.
It's still active.
It's still active in Lower Mesa.
And I'm sure it redirects to the correct side.
So I didn't have the privilege of serving on the charter review committee.
What was that?
So, we're moving the P and Z to be exactly what the council is, so that it would be, they would ultimately have the ability to serve 4
3-year term,
different terms.
if approved by the
I
legislature.
understand that. Okay. And then what was the amount that Robbie could approve on orders increasing or decreasing? So it was always that amount and it's just cleaning that up, or?
Well, the state law keeps changing, moving it up, and we didn't wanna keep chasing state law, so that's why we decided the language just to be whatever the state law is, and that way we don't have to revisit it over and over.
When I first got here to the city, back when the earth was cooling, it was $25,000. And so, some years ago, they changed that to 50, and I suspect, just from inflationary, they'll probably change that again at some point. But that was really just to be more in line with state law, so that we don't have to specify the amount.
And our, current charter currently requires all change orders, whether they be for $1 or for
Well,
$1
that's what I
million
was thinking, you know.
to come to council. But state law does allow, approval of amounts less than 50,000. So this would, on any other purchase, Robbie's already approved to make that decision if it's less than the amount fixed by state law. This is just moving that to also include change orders. So you don't get any more of those $50 change orders.
Take this fun away from it.
And again, the ones that, the amendments that aren't going on the ballot will come back to you for report. So you'll have a chance to vote on yea or nay on those.
When you do that, you'll put an official website, right?
I will definitely have the word official.
Thank you.
Any other questions, council? Thank you, Brenda. All right, at this time, we'll receive a statement from public works tax and report on the city's brush and bulk waste program.
Mayor and council, I have an opportunity to bring you this update. If you remember back last year during the budget process, I believe, council asked us to look at this program, and we went through the initial phase, last year, and made some tweaks and started doing some things, a little more stringent than we have in the past, and so I wanted to give you about a 6-month update. A little bit of the history, for those that may not recall, the current basic procedures were put in place in October 2009. The bulk of brush was picked up once a month in each quadrant, and this service is provided by all peer cities at various levels. I did a pretty good survey back last year at the beginning of this process. Looked at about 10 or 12 different local cities in the area, all suburbs as well. And everyone provides this service, some at more intensive levels than we do, but most all do it in some form or fashion. We believe that the service reduces the dumping in the different areas of the city. As I drive the streets on a daily basis, it's a constant effort to keep those areas picked up. In October of 2018, we began monitoring the compliance more closely. We began to educate the residents on the requirements of the program. As you may recall, during the October through December phase of the process, we did not find anyone and or create any funds for anyone. Everything was just an education process during that time. Beginning in January of this year, we began placing fines on the water bills of the customers who did not comply. Basic operation of the program is the Vulcan brush trucks pass by each residence location of the appropriate week. We've kind of revised that wording now to say your Monday, through some discussions that Terrence has been a part of, and he's taken and fielded a lot of the calls through this process when people are upset. So we have kind of reworded in our new literature is going to be a rewording where it says your Monday versus your week, because a lot of people have a misconception that your week meant all week long. And we need that stuff set out, as you see, by 7 a.m. on Monday of the corresponding week for it to be fall under the ability for it to be picked up that week. The limits are 5 cubic yards for bulk and 2 cubic yards for the brush. And the piles must not be mixed. That is a very common thing that a lot of people get confused about. They'll go out there and throw limbs on top of trash or trash on top of limbs or whatever, which it's 2 different trucks, 2 different routes, 2 different drivers. That it may be the same driver, but he's gonna come by there because the end result is it's going to 2 different locations. The trash is being taken, of course, to the landfill, and the brush is being kept in a different location, and then occasionally we bring in a person to have that mulched up. If it is not your week, and you need trash or limbs picked up, you can always